Hey plant pals, it's Mike the Kid Gardener, and today's video is going to be on making plant food. And here is all the tools I use to make plant food. This is an Arizona iced tea jug. This is where I say pH water. It kind of rubbed off, but I know it's pH water. And this is, I don't know if I want to advertise who they are, but yeah, it's a 1-gallon jug. And so what I do is I put pure water in here, and I leave the cap off for a day after I fill it up with water, just plain, it's filtered water out of my sink, and the chlorine will dissipate out of it. That was a tip I got from Lady Cheryl, and it does work. This is pH up. My water's pH. It's about the only techie thing I care about. Is the pH in my water is really low coming out of the tap from the city, so I use pH up to correct that. And then there's a pH meter that I use, and I'll show that process. It's super simple. You know, I was intimidated at first, but it's very simple. Here is the jug that I use for the food. Yeah, get off. I'll fill that with water and I'll show the process. This right here is every once in a while, because I grow tomatoes and peppers, they like calcium. So I put a tiny bit of CalMag solution into the water every once in a while, and that keeps them happy. This right here is the food that I like to use. It is Dynagrow 795. I use that for the grow phase, for growing leaves and keeping the plant happy. And then when they are blooming, I use the bloom. Excuse the floor. I just had an order come in from Walmart, delivered, and he delivered me some water, and that's on the floor there. And then, so like when you see all these flowers, that's when I use the bloom. But for something like this, you don't need bloom formula because this won't bloom. This is, you know, the green phase, the growing phase. And what I use to measure, because every one of them has a specific measure, is I went to my pharmacist and asked him for the biggest syringe he had, and it was a huge gauge which you could never use because he knows that. Like, I told him what I was using it for. You know, this was like for horses almost. It's a 5 millimeter, and hopefully YouTube doesn't freak out about showing a whatever. Anyway, I got this from the pharmacist, and I use it for measuring my plant solution. And I'll show that process. All right, I'm gonna go fill this with water. I'll take you with me, and I will show you how. As you can see, I'm filling these up. Switch them over. Get over there. And I will let these sit with the caps off on my plant shelf and let the chlorine dissipate, and I'll show you the next step. Okay, and we're back. The water has had time to release its chlorine. This here is a pH meter. Let's see how my city's water's pH is. If we can get it in the liquid there. It's upside down. I'll turn around in a second once it stops. Oops. It's kind of hard to do with two hands. There we go. Okay, see, it's a lot higher than it normally is. Normally it's like 4. So the city it's summertime, it's hot, so maybe the city's doing something to their water. But, okay, it's 7.5 now, which is fine for plants. They like that. They like it anywhere between 5.5 Like 5.6 to 7.5 is fine. Won't kill them. But when I add the food, it'll alter the pH. So I'm going to add. It calls for every gallon. Of this. It calls for 5 milliliters. But I have a lot of blooming plants right now, so I'm going to add 3 of the grow and 2 of the bloom, just so I can have an all-around food for all my plants. You know, even the ones that aren't blooming, it's fine. They like it. Won't hurt them. Right, I'm going to do that. I'm going to get the solution's worth, mix it up in here, shake it, and I'll test the pH. Be right back. Okay, I put the food in. I'm going to shake this up. Let you look at the plants while I do that. All right. Now let's see the pHs. Oops. I'm doing it backwards again. Of course I am. Okay, see, as you can see, it was 7, and now it's 5.5 and dropping. Let's see what it gets to. It's close enough to 6 where I could leave it, but I will put a tiny bit of pH up in here, shake it up, test it, and I'll show you that. Okay, let's see here. All right, I'm on it to be. I'd really like it to be like 6.5, but you know what? I'm chaotic. It's good enough. It's rising a little bit. All right, there you have it. That's how I make my plant food. And there are people who are experts at this stuff, and they will get to the exact decimeter of the balance for every single plant. They have charts and sheets and say that, well, I'm growing this needs 6.8 exactly, and this needs 5 point something exactly. I'm not doing that. I'm just making my base food, feed all my plants. What's happy's happy. If something dies, it's my fault. I take the blame. No big deal. And there are people who have, they test the particles of materials in the water and all that stuff. That's you know, maybe someday. You know, it's a learning process. I'm still in it to have fun. It's been 3 years. I've had tons and tons of food. Maybe I could have had tons and tons more, but you know, gotta do what you gotta do. All right. Thanks for watching. Any questions, comments? I'm sure I'm going to get yelled at by all the hydroponic people telling me I'm doing it wrong, but go for it. I'll enjoy the discussion. I like to learn. I'm not stubborn. All right. Please like and subscribe.